So let's start another video through which we will be able to know all about Alaska Mosque, and the question will be answered like what is the importance of Alaska for Muslim, Jews and the Christian, and why it has always been in news. First of all, let's know the meaning of Alaska. Alaska is a Arabic word that means the farthest, and it is located on the southern side of the Temple Mount and is the third holiest site in Islam after Masjid al-Haram, the great mosque of Mecca, and Al-Masjid al-Nawawi, the Prophet's mosque in Medina. Alaska is the most sacred site for Muslims as it part of Miraj. Miraj is an event marks the night that Allah took Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on a journey from Mecca to Jerusalem and then to heaven, and it is described in Surah Isra 17 by 1 in Quran. This site is part of whole city of Jerusalem, sacred to Muslims. For Muslims, it is Haram al-Sharif or the noble sanctuaries, and for Jews, the Temple Mount, known in Hebrew as a Har Habayit, is the holiest place because it was the site of two ancient temples. The first was built by King Solomon according to the Bible and was later destroyed by the Babylonians, and the second stood for nearly 600 years before the Roman Empire destroyed it in the 1st century. Originally built as a small prayer house, the mosque was reconstructed by the Umayyad Caliph Abdul al-Malik in 705 CE. After an earthquake, it was rebuilt again in 747, then in 1033, and many additions were made by the ruling dynasties of the Islamic Caliphate. After the Crusade, the mosque was recaptured by the Saladin, the first Sultan of Egypt and Syria, in 1187. It underwent renovations under various dynasties, including the Ottoman Empire, the Supreme Muslim Council, the Jordan. Then the question arises why Alaska is always been in news. So it starts from the war of 1967 that were fought between the Israel and the Arab, in which Israel was the victorious, and it has acquired the land area of the Jerusalem, and it has later declared a unified Jerusalem to be its capital, though that move was never been internationally recognized. There were an agreement and understanding between the Israel and Jordan that there will be a Waqf that will be conducted by the Jerusalem, and whole management of the uh, Alaska Mosque will be controlled by the Jordan. So and it was further compacted by an agreement in 1994, that is the peace treaty between Israel and Jordan. But there were various episodes that has happened that caused the turmoil in the region, like in 1990, for example. A deadly riots exploded after a group of Jewish extremists sought to lay a cornerstone for a temple to replace the two destroyed in ancient times. And in 2000, an opponent leader, that is Ariel Sharon, who became a prime minister, went to the Alaska compound to assert the Jewish claim over the Alaska Mosque, and that was caused the catalyst for an explosive bout of Israeli-Palestinian violence that led to the Palestinian uprising known as the Second Intifada. So there are various demonstration in the region, and that demonstration were mostly related to the uh, uh, acquisition of the land area of the Palestinian people, and their forceful eviction from their houses to for the resettlement of the Jewish population in the area, or in the settlement areas that is predominantly occupied by the Arabs and the Palestinians. So in present time, there were the demonstration against the acquisition of the land area and the forceful eviction of the Palestinian from their houses that led to the confrontation between the uh, Israeli forces and the Palestinian people. So Israel, there were the uh, various rocket launched rocket launch to the Israeli land area by the Hamas. So in response, Israeli forces started attacking on the Gaza that caused various humanitarian casualties. So it continued for 11 and 12 days. But after the intervention of the U.S. President Joe Biden, that caused the ceasefire of the war. So that was all about the Alaska Mosque. If you like the video, you find the video valuable and informative, then like and subscribe. Thank you.